everybody, welcome back to another Rosh Reviews, but today we are in something pretty damn wild. This is a AU Falcon and this is a burnout car. It's Innzane's and it is insane, guys. Just like from the pod filter out the bonnet, the noise of this Intech, and it is the 4-liter Intech still on this. Man, this thing is insane. Now this is a really great story because the owner of this saved it essentially from the wreckers. So one of his neighbors had this thing just sitting in a paddock for years and years and years. He dropped a letter in the mailbox, just saying he wants to pick this thing up off him, and just out of pure luck, the owner was literally getting this thing wrecked, and he said, come give me 300 bucks and you can take it home. So he's got this AU, he's done all the work himself, and this thing is pretty crazy now. So being a burnout car, all the airbags have been removed. So we've got this kind of OMP wheel here, which kind of feels pretty nice in the hands. It's got some Bud Simmons on it. The suspension is basically non-existent in this thing. It is harsh. So it's also got extractors, it's got catch can, and they've actually put an EA diff in the back of this, I believe just because it is a little bit narrower. And man, this thing is pretty wild. Now the old BTR here, the 4-speed, she's been manualized. So, this thing really, it's ready to send it. And the owner does. It's quite interesting to drive. And I gotta say, between the noise of this thing, just the savageness of just everything you touch, from the gearbox to the diff to trying to turn this thing. It's obviously got a, oh, we're not in reverse, there we go. Welded up diff here, so this is a solid diff. We've got the fuel cell in the back also. What an absolute beast. I'm gonna give it a few bit of revs. Jesus, man, like, you can't drive these things fast on the road. Like, this road is the nicest one we could find. Again, we're out in the country, so it is just a back road, but my goodness, it is rough, and it's hard on the car the faster you go. And look, guys, these 4-liter inline 6 Intechs, the grandfather to the Barra, essentially. They come out with around 250 kilowatts to the crank, and this one, it hasn't been on the dyno or anything, but it should be pushing around the same. These things are indestructible, man. Like, a lot of guys now as well, my good mate Rex H, they're drifting these things now, they're doing them up, and these things are actually starting to get pretty damn valuable. And when I say valuable, they're still not very expensive vehicles. You can go and pick these things up for a couple of grand, but like this particular example, the owner picked this up from a paddock for 300 bucks. The thing still rode, they just had to chuck a battery in it and they drove the thing home. That really is the beauty of these AU Falcons, is it's just the longevity of them, the reliability, and they've got a lot of soul and a lot of character. These things definitely weren't the prettiest cars when they came out, but throughout time now, they actually starting to get a lot of love. Now, if you guys are enjoying this type of content, please make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell notification so you do get updated whenever we do another upload. And Yeah, crazy Australian vehicles like this is what we are all about. It is stupid loud, this thing. Now, I know typically we'd be doing a 0 to 100, guys, but look, with the crazy diff setup here, the suspension alone, with the 20s, I do not have the stomach to take this thing to 100 k's an hour on this back road because it is just insanely bumpy. You know, we're going like 20, 30 now, and it's it's rough. So, yeah, it's not going to be quick anyways, guys, but at the end of the day, this thing just looks mean, it sounds mean, and it does a bloody good skid. Now, the owners of this vehicle actually did last year bring down their V8 Territory, which is a skid car as well. And you guys, if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link for it. You can click the pop-up banner right here. That was pretty damn awesome to see. So yeah, make sure you check that one out. It's a savage beast, this thing, and you know, it's unfortunate we couldn't take it to a skid pad. Like, that's really where this car would be at home. Out on the road, it's definitely difficult. Yeah, with the lock diff, the harshness of the suspension here. Yeah, it is a wild ride, but man, nevertheless, this thing is just awesome, and I had to show it off. So I'm gonna finish the video off here today. So look, a huge thanks to the owner for letting me take out his AU Burnout car, because this thing, as the license plate says, Innzane, it is insane. So, you know, you can follow the owner on Facebook. It's powered by Ford. I'll leave a link for his other socials as well down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here. We'll see you in that next video.